All right, sending out these healing notes. I guess is the best way I could say it. Healing notes. That's for everybody. So I am Eight Wind is timeless, or Eight Wind Eagle, or Time Lord. However you say it, however you know me, I go by all that. I take all that. And this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am I am the holder of the continuous ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o. I am sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight we're still doing it. Sierra Nevada Wonderland Hazy IPA, or Nectar Ale as they call it. So those that know the routine, pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. And tonight, since we're less than 24 hours from the full moon cycle, give a little smoked energy as well. Give a little smoke energy. Get some more incense for tomorrow. Oh, this is sandalwood too. Oh, oh yeah. I'm sending out a little Verger energy to everyone. Send that out. Just sending out the Virgin energy, which goes like this, which is related to motion. And this has the motivite on it. And sending out this energy, and it's the same thing that I wear. Really should be represented like the same way as you see motion for the Mayan Omen, Omeka, however you want to say it. Sending that energy out for you too. Um, oh, beautiful evening, smooth, lazy day. My daughter did well in her nationals competition. Her group got first and second place. So when she did her toss, she caught it. She was one of the few in her group that did catch it. So, we're proud of her. Got to be just as proud of her and give her support, just as I'm proud of the boys. So we got Anise. How are you? Thank you. I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. Lorenzo, peace unto you. Thank you so much. Oh, not much. Well, the moderator. Yes, I guess I am all that tonight. Um, yeah, just feeling it tonight. Um, The moon energies are coming in. So to time, I'm going to come on slightly earlier tomorrow because the full moon comes in at 11:30 my time. I think if it's 10:30 my time, then I'll come on then. But I think it comes in on 10:30, 11:30. It'll be 11:30 for me, but I'm going to have to double check that. Let's see, I can probably check it now. I got the moon cycles. Let's see. So it might be 10:30. Let's see. Because I like to know the angles. I like to know when stuff is coming up. So heading position, moon's over the horizon. I still think it's 11:30 my time. I think that's what I checked before too. Let's see. It's that far back. What time does a full moon come in tomorrow? And same thing I got. Doesn't tell. Brings me the same thing in. Moonrise and sunset calendar. Oh, here we go. The next full moon will be Monday, so it'll be 10:30. It will be 10:30 Eastern, 11:30 Eastern, so it'll be 10:30 my time. So that's when I'll come in tomorrow, 10:30 my time. That's when the moon will peak. And I'm sorry I didn't give the energy up last night because remember the moon is the energies come in 3 days before and they still effective 3 days after. So those of you that would like to manifest, this would be a great time to manifest for whatever you're working on or working to, whatever you're building on. If you want to push on a push of energy, and so hey PJ, thank you for joining me. That's very smooth. And so to give you a push of energy, those of you that can feel the energies, again, just like with crystals, there's people that can't feel them. my son, I always get into it. He's like, they're placebo, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, they're not. Placebos don't move constantly. A crystal is in constant motion. That's what makes them crystals, is they are in constant motion. That's why they can put a small little piece and keep a watch running for years, because they're in constant motion. They have constant energy. A placebo pill, what does it have? So it doesn't have too much. Rocky, what's happening? Oh, I was given a gift tonight too. Beautiful sister. I'm connecting with all these Australian people, but let's see. Beautiful sister sent me some energy. Here she is. Her name is Dinah. And she gave me some crystal energy. And I think it must be in the morning. So just wanted to thank her for sending me that energy. She gave me some beautiful crystal energy. And Jeffrey always sends me updates and stuff about stuff. So, and then if Jody is watching, they have hid her channel on YouTube. Under the spelling of her name, I cannot find her. Yeah. It goes to the lady that killed somebody, Jodi Arias. So I don't know, because I can go on the link, but when I go, I'd have to go back, check back in instead of being in. So, oh well, that's how it works sometimes. Oh, are you doing the meditation tomorrow when the full moon comes? Yes, I'm probably going to have to do it alone, but I will do the meditation too. Yes, I will. I will do the meditation tomorrow as well. Yes, I can handle it alone, but I'm probably going to have to end up doing it alone. So I don't mind. I can handle that. And yeah, when I bring in all the, I'll bring the rest of my singing bowls in, and Monday night, yeah, maybe one drum. I don't want to be rude to my neighbors, so maybe one drum. And I'm just a firm believer in stirring those kind of energies up because uh, certain hertz of energy, and that's what Jody show was about, saying this what type of energy can actually do healing. That's why the tuning forks, and I bring the tuning forks out, but they really don't transverse to the mic. I mean, you really won't hear them. Maybe I'll turn the mic up because it will play the perfect fifth, and that's one of the healing hertz or healing vibrations that when I activate it and I'm over a person and I touch a certain area, all that energy will go directly in the person. Now I do have an aluminum one, which doesn't hold the vibration as long. But what the aluminum one does is the aluminum one will go directly to. It's like you activate it, and then all the energy it gets, it will shoot directly into the spot very quickly. The more expensive one I have, it won't do it as quickly, but it will hold that energy a little longer. So that's kind of the advantage of the two. I have sets of them though, and maybe I'll bring the sets out because what the sets do is there's certain sounds that you want to help with your aura. Not really a big believer in karma, but my energy field. I can strengthen my energy field. And so when I bring all those forks out, some of them you can barely hear, but you're feeding your energetic field. You're making that stronger. And so there's not a whole lot of things that can do that, but those tuning forks can. And you want to make that strong as possible because when you get around people that really know and can feel that, they can feel that burst of who you are. So even before you say something, these people feel this energy coming off you, and then it helps too. It keeps energy vampires away too, because your energy is strong. And there's no bites in your energy, so your colors come and you burst upon any scene or as you gather with people. If energy vampires can see that there's been biting, in your colors in your energy fields, then they think they can pull up a straw and suck on it, feed off you. So, hey, James, thank you. Oh, you're not late. I just started a couple of minutes ago. I've been going 14 minutes, so you're not late. PJ, what's happening? Thank you for joining. Nice to see you tonight. So yes, I will be still doing the meditation tomorrow. So maybe I'll come on slightly earlier, try to feel with the peak because today, if I'm not mistaken, today's energy is going to be Lamont. So the energy would come out of the south for Monday. Yeah, south. But yeah, but when the time changes, we'll be going into a new easterly direction. So that's kind of cool because I could almost put you like it put us in the center. And almost like we could uh transition at that time, go to the center instead of really being in the direction. Since we're so close going into a new cycle of the east, we could just go to the center and hold that center energy. So that might be helpful tomorrow. That might be helpful tomorrow. Uh, Energy vampires. Well, there are people that like you meet a Debbie Downer, and you sit around the Debbie Downer and you talk to them, and all of a sudden they feel better because you've kind of lifted them up. But if you find that you keep having to do this, then they're more than likely an energy vampire. So it's not really what you tell them or what you talk about that's lifting them up. It's your energy that they start feeding off of. And so, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, they'll take a straw and start drinking from your energy. And so that's what I mean by energy vampires. These people, every time they contact you, they need some type of uplifting. It's like people at work, if they're feeling weak or something, they'll try to come in your face to speed off you a little bit. So you kind of gotta. It happens a lot. Like you sitting in the cubicle in commercial show, the motherfucker pop his head around, and it's not necessarily he's there to copy your work, but he sees that you're being efficient in your work, and so he wants to tap a little bit from you to give him energy to continue on. And so that's kind of what energy vampires can do. And be careful of that at work, because that's where you can see people trying to use that, because it'll be people every day that want to take a little bite of your energy to pick them up, especially at work. So that's a place where I say you'd have to be the most careful. Hmm. Oh, thank you, Valerie. So that's something to be protective of. But friends, family, all that kind of thing, you got to pay attention to that, because family can be energy vampires too. So they don't get a pass. So be aware of family that would want to feed on you as well. So, but yeah, not a whole lot going on here. I didn't watch any of the Academy Awards. I saw they didn't let the brother and the sister win. I thought that movie on Netflix sucked. I really did. It was predictable. It was boring, very stagey, like a play stage, a couple scenes. So, I didn't think it was the greatest job. I think, honestly, quantifying again, I thought he should have been up for James Brown. I really did. I thought he should have been up for an award for James Brown, but they wasn't going to give it because the one guy did Johnny Cash after Jamie Foxx got the award, so it was during that time, and they just wasn't going to give another portrayal like that award. But I thought his portrayal of James Brown was outstanding. And I'm surprised the song "Get On Up," a Sex Machine, didn't win a Grammy that year that James Brown was released, because they added extra stuff, because when they go it goes, "Can I take him to the bridge?" And they switched it. They said, "Let's go all the way back." So they switched a couple lines of it. They updated the song, and so. And then you supposedly had Bootsy and Catfish killing it. I mean, that's one of the greatest songs uh, of all time, "Sex Machine," but it was a different version. So I don't know if people was in tune to that. So the James Brown movie was off the chain. Yeah, it was a great movie. It really was. It was a great portrayal. They took it easy on James in some ways, because James beating Tammy Terrell. He took Tammy Terrell on the road, and she was 16, 17 as his woman, and then abused her while they was out, while they were on the road. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was the drunken things, but it's reportedly that he beat on her and stuff. She had a hard life. Tammy Terrell really had a hard life. To be taken away so young was probably a Motown sacrifice, early sacrifice. But yeah, she didn't live to be but 24, 25. At a very young age, she was raped by three men walking home from school. And then shortly afterward, her fame came. So she had a hard, quick life, for such a young woman, then dying from brain cancer at 24. But her peak is probably "Ain't No Mountain High." But her and Marvin Gaye, I mean, anybody's interested in it's "You're All That I Need to Get By." There's a lot of work out there that you can really enjoy her work. But of course, "Ain't No Mountain High" is their peak song, and she's just beautiful there. Where you could again, you see "Ain't No Mountain High" enough, you see her wearing the lashes they wear today, and that's from on Boblo Island from '66 or '67, and she's wearing the eyelashes. I wonder the thing she wears on her head, would that be considered a bonnet? Because she wore it out. she wore it out in public, so I imagine. But it looks like what they call a bonnet these days. But that was like her peak, and it showed that she probably could have acted. In that short little clip, you see where she probably could have acted. The one chick that went to my school, something P something, she was in the Fox show. That chick kind of has the same look. Almost I would say Tammy was a little prettier than that chick, but they have the same type of look. But she went to A&T too. The chick from "It's Hard Out Here to Be a Pimp," and then she was with the same dude, on the Fox TV show. That chick, I can't think of her name. Some of y'all probably, but y'all know who I'm talking about. She has the Tammy Terrell look. Some people was like, "Was that Tammy?" Tammy was pretty in her. she wasn't quite as pretty. She's not quite as pretty as Tammy. But again, judging a woman in her 60s, Tammy had a rough life. Yeah, very sad, Valerie. Very sad. Very sad. She was raped about 11, 12, 13. She was very young. And three men just in the field, around Detroit. So, and then getting with, abusive men. There's one report that David Ruffin had hit her in the head with a motorcycle helmet. Not knowing how true that is, but it was like, once she left home and was allowed to leave with James Brown, she kind of kicked it with just other actors and stuff. The Temptation movies show her with David Ruffin, but she would make a great show. But yeah, Taj P Henson, yeah, she went to A&T too. She's an Aggie, but she has that look, but she's not as pretty in my opinion. Tammy was a little prettier woman, so. But yeah, little music history there for the music lovers. And I'm still trying to get Nick Taylor on because to kick it with Nick about music. There's so much music history. The Marvelettes, the group that my mother used to be the road manager for. They sang Mr. Postman. Please, Mr. Postman, please, would you tell Mr. Postman? Mr. Postman, look at see. Oh, yeah, did you leave a letter for me? One of the ladies is a Gill, was Richie, my friend Richie's mother. She was a Gill. Her husband or her brother was one of the replacement Temptations that was a Gill. And I've met the other two ladies. I've met all three, but before they had that hit, Betty Kelly, that later went with Martha and the Vandellas. Before Mr. Postman, Betty was with the Marvelettes. And then Betty went with Martha Vandellas, had Heat Wave, Dancing in the Street. She had 2 or 3 hits when she was with the Martha and the Vandellas. So Mr. Postman, and Mr. Postman was a hit before the Supremes did a hit. If anybody read Mary Wilson's book Dreamgirls, they were the Supremes were looked at as the no hit Supremes, but that Mr. Postman was from the early '60s. Probably the hits was My Guy was Berry Gordy, I believe, first hit. I've heard the Jackie Robertson thing, but I want to say or Jackie Wilson, but I think it was My Guy. Mary Wilson was actually Motown's first hit. And then Mr. Postman, I think, came after that. But they had, the Supremes had longer career, and they had like them. They did like Motown really got hot in music. The Supremes had 4 or 5 #1 hits, and then followed by the Jackson 5 of 4 or 5 #1 hits. So, it's a great part of history there of music for those music lovers. Yeah, they should how similar looks like they are somewhere. Yeah, they do the Marvelettes wrong too. Didn't give them any credit they deserved. Yeah, and they still, I mean, the ladies are all in their late 70s, early 80s, if they're all still alive. I'm not sure. But yeah, not getting the monies, and because again, touring is where they get most of their monies. But yeah, not getting the credit. And this song was a hit. I think it made the top 100s. Back then, if you broke the top 100, you technically had a hit. Not sure. I mean, you could look it up, but I'm not sure how high it went on. Because again, you've always had the R&B charts as well. It's funny looking at the old R&B charts and you see the blues songs up in there too. And I love the blues. The old Marvelettes wrong. Yeah, they did. They did do them wrong. But I remember, I knew those ladies growing up, and people would ask them to sing, and they would be at events and stuff. I want to say one of them was my aunt had a social club. I can't remember, but it seemed like one of them. But these were ladies that I knew, growing up. They are ladies that I knew, and but they still toured. They gave concerts and stuff. So I grew up around a lot of music, and then with Narda, I mean, just grew up around a lot of music. It was hard to be in Michigan and not grow up in Michigan, not grow up around a lot of music. And as I said before, I was held by Stevie Wonder as a little boy. I guess he took some type of interest in me, and he was tapping on the table. And apparently, I was like imitating him tap on the table. And I guess he was having fun with me like that. And again, I was little. He would have probably been 16, 17, something like that, 15. And but it was in Lansing. My mother said at that time they were in Lansing recording, or at one of the studios in Lansing. I never knew there was one there. Gladys Horton died, and she was the one fighting for the rights. The original members, they frauds going on, getting the money. Okay, Gladys Horton, yeah, and it one of them I'm sure was one of the Gills though. Sure was Richie's. It was either Richie's aunt or Richie's, because Richie had two people in entertainment. It was but I thought she was one of them was a Gill, because it's a lot of Gills in Michigan. But yeah, those were my mother's friends. They say Stevie isn't blind. I've heard that over and over again. But again, I met him so young that I didn't remember that part. But I have watched him in concert several times, and I never saw any indications that he wasn't. Because again, his whole routine, he would have harmonicas, he played the piano, he could play the drums, he could play a little bit of everything. I would dare say he was probably just as talented as Prince as a musician, other than he didn't play the guitar that I knew of, but he played the piano, he played the drums, he could play the harmonica. And so I've watched him before in concert. So when the people show the video of him knowing where the microphone is, or knowing where the music tray was and moving it, you're talking about a man that for his whole life has been on stage. So that he would know where he practiced and stuff, and kind of they let him know the layout, because you would see him like when I saw him older, when he had the whole, like I talked about the dude with the system having a whole keyboard thing, computer keyboard thing. When he had that, he was going back and forth from that back to a regular piano. So he was navigating that kind of system. Um, so it's hard to say. I can't say yay or nay, but I've watched him in concert a few times, and so hard to say. Gladys was the real. They say Steve Gladys was the lead singer. Okay, Valerie. Uh, yeah, I can't. But I met all of them. They were always around. I believe they all still stayed in the Kalamazoo area, if I'm not mistaken, because they were always on in the paper back when I was in high school performing somewhere. So before she died, they were still touring a little bit. So, but yeah, people back then were just getting, you write a song, and yeah, they would just throw their name on, like you saw anybody that saw the Frankie Lyman movie, that clearly showed it, where the producer would throw their name on it. Hey Lobo, there are three celebrities that mentioned Stevie could see: Shaq, Marlon Wayans, and Anthony Anderson. These is all young people though. These ain't the people that been with him his whole life. These is people, young people. So you have to consider that too. None of them people is 50. None of them people. All them people is young people. So why would young people say it and the old folks say it? That's my thing. So again, I can't say yay or nay, but I've seen him several times performing, and I didn't see anything that made me think he wasn't. Again, he was on stage going from the piano to the synthesizer by no one was out there with him. So when he performed, there was no one waiting there. There were people that would come up after he got done performing and walk him away. That's what I saw. But could be. I ain't never seen him drive either. Quincy Jones said it too. That's where I get it from. Okay, Quincy said it. Could be because it definitely helped his act. Like he was known as Little Stevie Wonder, and he was actually older than what they were trying to say. But when he played, because his first song is called Footsteps, I think, where he has a nice harmonica solo, and he's probably one of the best people in the business that played harmonica. I know Little Walter was outstanding, and the dude who played with War, um, he was outstanding on harmonica too. But so was Stevie Wonder, and anyone that has, I think it's called Footsteps, is his first hit. Um, that's a tough song too, but he plays a harmonica, and then he even jokes and plays "Mary Has a Little Lamb" with it. He hits that note. I mean, with the harmonica. I have a harmonica. I can't play it. So he could be. He could be. I'm glad we talked about Stevie Wonder, because Snoop is on all those commercials for the Mexican beer. But Snoop is now starting to look like Stevie. Remember when Stevie had the braids way back here? Remember, it's the braids would start. Snoop is starting to look like that. Snoop is starting to get, he's keeping on his hip hop. Just because you got braids down your back, you know, his stuff is still way back here. So I find that funny that he's hanging on to the braids, and I guess some men think that if they grow their braids so far, they can, like, they're not bald, but like when your braids start way in the back of your head, you're bald. So I find that kind of funny. Hey, somebody or Stevie couldn't see where they was putting the braids because the braids was all in the back. How does Stevie count his changes when he buys stuff? I don't know, Rocky. I don't know. Is that a joke? Because that was the thing they showed in the Ray Charles movie. How he was able to try to tell the difference between the different monies. But I don't know. How does Stevie count his change when he buys stuff? I don't know. I don't think he has to. And it's all kind of wild stories about him as well. Snoop needs to go ahead and divorce the Dredge. Yes, Valerie. I just find it kind of funny that he's holding on to that hip hop. Though that's what we call it, where people are holding on to their hip hop, and that's what I find Snoop doing. Hey, gaming, what's happening? Thank you for joining. But that's kind of what he's doing. Yeah, Snoop had one hell of a receding hairline. Yeah, Ernice, it's back there. But I don't know. I know another brother I'm friends with on Facebook. He's the same way where he's got locks, but he turns his locks kind of in the front. And like his picture of him, the little cartoon thing they do on Facebook shows a dude with full dreads. And it's like, no, brother, your stuff is back here, which it's a personal choice, I guess. But it's like your stuff still starts back here. You're bald all up in here, but he balls his up, and so he kind of puts some in the front. I don't know, which to me is the same thing of like putting on a toupee. I mean, I've pretty much been bald. I have some Afro pictures, but my mother cut my hair bald starting as a little boy. So once I hit the East Coast, I was like, yeah, these Afros ain't in style no more. So I came back and started cutting mine low. The hairline is like in the middle of his head. Exactly, Valerie. No man wants to lose his hair. I don't know. I just looked at my relatives. I really did. I looked at my relatives and I said, yeah, I'm going to look like that. Like there's a picture of me when I'm 30, when my son is born. And you can see where, and I always had it's funny, my son on Community Splash, we have the same hair lick, I think they call it. He has it like I had it. It was like a line that always went through my hair. And I see my son has that same one. It was like a slant that always was there. And I was like, yeah. So when I was about 14 or 15, I went to Pittsburgh with a big afro. And when I saw all the brothers, how they looked down there, and it wasn't really a big afro. It was kind of, we was trimming it down like the shag type, and sometimes, but when I went to Pittsburgh and saw everybody with short haircuts, I came back with a clean head. And I got, as soon as I went to Michigan, I got back in time where I could go get a haircut, and I was like, just zip it off. So I go to school, looking with a clean look, with looking like Mr. Clean. And I was like, 10th grade. Everybody's like, what happened to you? They thought I was crazy. What happened to you? His head was pushed back. Mystical too. Oh no, what is his name? Coolio? What, that dude? Oh my goodness. He had like one braid here and one braid there. Just ridiculous looking. Yeah, mystical too. No man. he was pushed, his was pushed back. And that's why another thing I told my sons is like, don't get people to line you up in the front. That makes you go bald. It's like, when people would cut your hair for years, they would give you a lining in the front. But if you noticed people over the years, the line, would go back further and further and further. So it's like you should never get that lined up in the front. Just let it go, because it will make your hair recede. So I know my sons both stopped doing it. But my oldest is 31. He doesn't look like he's going to lose his hair. Not sure about my 26-year-old son. He's still got very long hair. And then you guys saw City's his hair is extremely long. So, but their grandfather was bald on their mother's side. He started losing his hair at 17 though. So they don't really look like their uncle. Her brother is he's bald. He finally cut his hair off, and he's 37. because I think she's 47. So I think he's 10 years. So he has to be at least 37. And the boys don't apparently look like him yet. Uh, I wonder about my middle son that's 20 or be 20 in June. Will he be the first one to kind of lose his hair? It's interesting to see. Uh, hey James, what's happening? It's good to see you join me tonight. So not a lot going on with me. Kind of a boring day. Didn't sleep well last night. That's why during the baseball game I was napping, listening to the game. It's like no way you end up losing 8-7. You win 8-7 when you was down 7-0. Yeah, you just don't lose like that. You just don't keep them pitchers in to give them hits up. It's just interesting how they do it. Are you chilling? Me too. Me too. Me too. It's gonna be nice all week up here. I guess that they called off the snow for Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's gonna be a nice week. And next weekend it's gonna be in the 70s. So perfect time, perfect time of year to really get into it. And yeah, I'll probably be on. Yeah, about 10:30, 10 before 10, and we'll do a meditation. I don't know if I can get one divineness. I haven't heard from her for a couple of days, so I don't know if she'll be able to join us. But if she's not busy, she's more than welcome to join. So, but we all get busy. I know she was doing some studying, so I was kind of letting her get that studying done before I bothered her. Didn't want to bother her for nothing like that. Uh, I watched that Mortal Kombat movie. It was whack. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, the opening scene was the best scene of the movie. The time where he threw the hat, and then he was able to. The hat was in the ground spinning. And he dog walked the dude into the hat, and it cut him in two. That was kind of a sweet scene. But the first scene was the shit. That first scene was very nice. The very first scene is very nice fight scene, and it's just like the movie didn't live up to that scene. That's what I thought, and it became predictable. I was like, yeah, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. But I mean, it was worth watching, but not worth watching again. Where I've watched King Kong 3 times, so just not worth watching again. It's like I was reading some of that Academy Award shit, and I'm like, yeah, none of this shit's worth watching. It's like, how does shit win and no one's watched the damn movie? It makes you wonder. No one's talking about these damn movies. Now, again, I didn't think that Netflix movie with those people in it should have won because that was some boring shit to me. I know it was jazz history, but that shit was boring. That shit was predictable. The play like scenes, the scenes in the one room. I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. I thought the acting was overacting. I thought they were all over the top. So it was a boring movie to me. I watched Immortal. Cole was a bad choice for the main character. Can you imagine a bald head Snoop? I mean, when he first came around, he had a small afro. So I don't know, PJ, might. Also, not enough Scorpion. No, it wasn't enough Scorpion at all. Was Johnny Cage in it? Was that his name? I'm not sure if that's his name. I'll check it out. So Mortal Kombat is a letdown. I mean, it's worth watching, but only once. Two thumbs down for Mortal Kombat. I don't know if I would give it that, but it's not a great movie. I'll say that. It's predictable. It gets kind of slow. The fight scenes are decent, but the first fight scene is worth watching. Hey, see over there's my man. What's happening? Thank you for joining me. So the fight scenes was decent, but I don't know. I don't know. But peace into you, brother. Thank you. That was very kind for you to send that energy out. So it was okay. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me to watch movies because I can't stand stupid like that Sal dude. It's hard for me to believe he can just be an ass whooper. Like, really? You blame it on Sal or cousin Sal, whatever it was called, and now you got him in a movie kicking ass? That's not believable. His character is not believable as somebody that's going to go around just kicking ass. It's just like I watched a few minutes of it, and I'm just like looking like it's no way you are that tough. I like that he did the weapons training and the training to portray it. I respect that, but just looking at that character, I just like, yeah. Yes, yeah, they said it was average. And that's why I will put it, see, over. It's average. It's not like, again, it's not worth watching more than once. Once was worth it, but it's not like, yeah, I want to watch that again. Again, the beginning scene is cool. The beginning scene is cool. I mean, you like fighting. He do put in some work for the beginning scene, but like you see that great fighting scene, and the rest of the movie is not great as that. So, the newest video game is like a movie. Ah, okay. I don't know if my boys have that. James, do you wish you had more hands to give it more thumbs down? There you go. Do you watch The Godfather of Harlem? I have not started watching that yet. I have not. I opened it up on my app, but I haven't started watching it. This is off subject. Did you see Fernando Tardis Jr. and his eye symbolism running the bases? Yes, I did. I did notice that. I did notice that. And he even did that little dance before he touched third. Yep, I noticed that though. He did do the one eye symbolism. And I tell you what, that's something that a lot of women do. And I don't think they realize what they're doing and what energy they're bringing in, because that's a common pose for women, especially on Facebook, is showing the one eye, and they don't really know what the one eye is. So they're copying a behavior from past Hollywood pictures, but Hollywood did it to try to show you that they believe they're on that one side, because some of them say it's the eye of Bala Marduk. You're kind of bringing that energy around you. Now, that's what you want to bring around you, cool, but we know that that's the energy that you're bringing around you. The Marduk, the Yabatha, the Merge. You're bringing that's what the eye is. It's something like they call the evil eye, but that is part of the symbolism. Not every symbol, but most people, especially famous people, when they do it, that is who they're feeding. That is who they're showing credence to. So we see that a lot. Better off playing the game. No excuses. They know what it is. Yeah, there you go. I would say some people don't. I would say some women don't. And it's not giving them excuses, but some people are just naive to symbolism and they don't know what the symbolism means. I mean, like even with gematria, people don't understand when the gematria is coming out and what they're showing you, because everything is revealed and we are the information age. They have to tell you. That is the thing that the Zach gets right about the gematria. They have to tell you, and they have people that can follow this and then say, yeah, this is part of what they're saying too, and these are the habits, and these are the things, these are the same numbers we're seeing around this. And so that's on point, and that's something that we all. But see, at a certain point, you should be able to look at that yourself. You should be able to have the gematria and throw it in there yourself, and then look at the matches, and then you can see the same patterns over and over again. When a person dies, these government stories, it's the same pattern because all is revealed. They have to tell you. They can't hide it anymore. It's the information age, and so since it's the information age, they have to reveal it. Excuse me, they have to reveal this shit. So that is where gematria does help. Rocky say no excuses. Just give them one upside the head. Quit taking the damn pictures. But I know it's Catholics and Christians that take them pictures, and they don't know. They don't know. I'll say that they're ignorant of most symbolism. You can see that. I mean, hell, it's a picture of me throwing a diamond up and shit, like 13 or 14 on Facebook. And I didn't know what that shit meant. I hadn't studied enough. I'm just imitating some stupid shit I see. But yeah, I've never been a Mason. I've been asked to be a Mason, but I've never been a Mason. I've told that story many times. They wanted to give me a damn building because they knew I was making that bread, throwing them raves. And you know what I told them? I don't need your stinking building. I can get buildings all day. I'll make the building money back in 15, 20 minutes. So I don't need your building, baby. But that's the kind of thing they lay on you, as you get approached to do certain things. And now they try to do it through this kind of stuff. People holler at you through this stuff. What do you think? What do you think? Do you want to join?
I'm solo right now. Can a woman be a Mason? If not, why not? You couldn't be a Mason, but you could be an Eastern Star. You could be an Eastern Star. Like my best friend growing up, his mother, his father was the first 33-degree Mason I met. I don't even think my friend is a Mason, but his father was one of the highest brothers in Kalamazoo. And his mother was an Eastern Star, and she was just as high. Now I don't know the degrees that the Eastern Stars do, but I know that whenever they had the meetings, and he would be, uh, he'd had a house for the week when they would go. They would, if he didn't go with him when he was younger, he would go down there with him. But as he got older, he didn't have to go. He could just stay at the crib. And so we would have parties at his crib. His crib was laid. I come from that generation where people had finished basements, bars and everything. He had a full drum kit, and so. But those were the people. So yeah, you could be through an Eastern Star. Like it's a in Kalamazoo, it's a chick that was on the city commission, and her ex-husband just passed, which is kind of sad that he just passed. But I saw after she had been on the city commission, maybe she lost. I think she lost this go round. But I noticed she had joined the Eastern Star. I'm like, this chick's trying to position herself. But I think she lost the city council. I don't think she's still in it. But I thought that was interesting when she was part of the city council that she had joined the East. And this chick joined them uh, like a few years ago. And this chick is in her 60s. So she joined that shit in her 60s. So she looking at some kind of way she figures it'll help her. But yeah, she was in her 60s joining. But sad her ex died. Very sad that he died. We always called the brother Pokey, and I never knew that was short for pork chop. I never knew that. I knew his real name, but I never knew that his nickname was Pork Chop. But we just called him Pokey. So yeah, you if you look up Eastern Stars, that's the woman's version of the Masons. So a lot of brothers that's Masons and their women want to be active. That's how the women become active. And yeah, you wear all the the aprons and all that shit too. They've got a whole initiation thing that you go through as well. So yeah, just look into that. You'll learn a little bit more about it. But that's been around again for a long time. What a quantum of science said something that was interesting, and I wish I could remember where he got it from. So it's what is it? As above, so it is below. But the other thing is, as below, so it is above. I thought that was, you got to think about that shit too. So that's the thing they give Pike, as above, so it is below. But you have to look at the same way, as below, so it is above. And so the point that he made is people don't think or people don't realize how much of an impact life on here would have on the heavenly realms as well. I mean, anyone that watched any of those Greek kind of myth shows, what did he say? He was like, soon as men stop believing in us, then we disappear, and that's kind of how it is. If no one believes in these certain entities, if they're not being um, energy sent to them and gifts sent to them, they tend to disappear. That's why I really thought when they did when the American Gods did the Esther, the Easter, the Esther, and how they showed the multiple Jesuses, but they showed that how they took a divine feminine energy holiday and turned it into the masculine energy. I thought that was well done because that's basically what they did. They took that feminine energy. Everything about Easter is feminine. The eggs, the bunnies, all this is the feminine kind of thing. And yet they stuck something else on it because a lot of these things existed since before 2,000 years. Inanu, those that study any of the Anunnaki kind of stuff. That's another name. Inannu is another name for Easter, Esther. But I thought that was well done by the American Gods. And then where she just, again, she was nature, so she just like killed everything. If you guys remember that, she was so pissed that she just put everything where just wasn't going to. It was just in the dying stage, like the winter dying stage, not the spring rebirth. because she was like, "You're not celebrating me." Uh, Rosa Parks was Eastern Star agent. Very news to me, but new to other people. Better off playing the game. When I meant, do you wish you had more hands to give? Can one? Hey, Soap, thank you for joining me. Yeah, Rosa Parks was Eastern Star. But thank you, Soap. That's very kind of you. Nature is feminine. Oh, definitely, definitely. We come from women. I don't care what you argue. We come from women. It was women before men. So yeah, that's old T on Rosa. She was down with the Divine Nine. There you go, Valerie. Yes, she was. I mean, again, Rosa Parks was a fraud in every way. I mean, they was embarrassed at a 15-year-old girl that that they first went to court for, because this 15-year-old girl was pregnant by a 30-year-old man. So they didn't like the way that looked. And again, what it was what year is that? Late 50s, early 60s. And so they brought the secretary that was light skinned and pretty and made her the face of it. They rechained. They did a Mandela effect. That's actually what they did. They made everybody forget the young girl. So that was a Mandela effect that they did on melanated people. Was that because the case was about the young girl that was 15 that got pregnant by a 30-year-old. That's the case. So they brought this space there. And who just bought her house in Detroit and shit? And then she played the lie. She played the lie. That's the thing that gets me. She played the lie all them years. She knew that she wasn't the originator of that, but they made this pretty secretary, for the time. She was pretty for the times. So that's history anybody can find. Anybody can find that kind of history. Claudette Calvin. There you go. Yep. Claudette Calvin. But that's you want to know when the Mandela effect that was getting rid of her, was getting rid of Claudette. Quantum is somewhat of an agent in this bullshit too. I don't believe believe you shouldn't believe in shit. You only know. You don't believe in shit. Just know. All this nonsense just from his book, Smart Words. Woo woo. And I say this too, as I caught some agent shit out of him as well. I caught some agent shit out of him because he was saying he sounded like Nick Clark. Quantum sounded like Nick Clark with or Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon was saying about what you think the shot gonna do to you. He had a whole show where he pretty much showed he was the type of agent, because that's what he was saying. Well, what do you think? Don't you think the machine knows that how many people was gonna want it and how many people? I'm like, yeah, you working for them. So yeah, but that's discernment. See, that's on you. If you wholeheartedly fall into what somebody's saying, that's your discernment. That's why you got to take information in and discern the information. So it's not that everything he says doesn't have value. It's just that should show you what goes on. The same thing, like I was just saying about Zach. It's not that Zach doesn't have valuable shit, but it's like you see the slant. And that's my thing that I try to tell even young people. Don't present your information without a slant. Because the moment you start putting your information with a slant, your information can get picked apart. Again, one thing they don't tell you about directions is the center. It's always the center. That's one thing they don't want to tell you. They want to tell you it's just four directions, but it's always the center as well. The center is direction too. But see how they don't want to give you this stuff. They don't want to tell you that there even is a center, that the center is a direction. So that's how you just got to listen to these people. Uh, fucking year and a half, and I still have to tell retards a simple concept. Jesus Christ Superstar. Claudette Calvin. Yes, Valerie. Yeah, the flu went away. Exactly. They're going hard on food. I haven't taken the poke yet. I'm still contemplating. Yeah. When they told me that I couldn't take the pain stuff, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm just supposed to be hurting. Fuck that. I ain't gonna be hurting. Pain medicine helps. Once you lie to me about stuff, I don't like the person anymore. That's how I feel. They forcing me to get it for work. Wow. I work at the hospital. Yeah, it would be hard to maneuver off of that. Flu disappeared like thin air because they haven't been asking me if I want the shot. All about the COVID. Hey, Overstand Mocha, thank you for joining me. Like I said about the flu plunge, they had a greeter, and I'm not saying, I'm not capping. They had a greeter giving shots at the Walmart I go to. Now, maybe the greeter was a nurse. I don't know, but I saw her greeting before. And then one day she's sitting at a table and it said free flu shots. So anytime they giving, I mean, nothing's free. So anytime they giving the shit free, it just makes me like, why is it free all of a sudden? I don't get that. So damn, they are forcing yourself, my G. Yeah, they are forcing people. Chronic pain is a different type of pain. Over the counter doesn't help. No, hell no. I take tramadol and I take that. Oh, froze up. That's the only shit that make me stop hurting. That shit. That damn joint pain is not a joke. Joint and nerve pain. That's like this is the problem with pain. People think it's normal to hurt all the time. That's how pain, that's how we look at pain. People think it's normal. When you get to be in pain for so long, it's part of your life, and you think it's normal to hurt all the time. Like I didn't been bringing, like I got the massage gun. I got my tens unit is about $2,500. Tens unit. It's one of the best you can get. I'll never run out of pads. But I mean, this shit, and I've got even ultrasound. I've got an ultrasound that I need to order some more gel, but that's that personal. You get the gel and it goes deep. It penetrates deep into the muscles. I use all this shit all the time. So if you call my other show, sometime I'll be hooked up. When I sit here, I will be hooked up. I had a tens unit hooked to my back because the type of disease I have attacks my lower back. I have a disease that attacks my ligaments. That's probably why shin splints was so hard on me when I played basketball. I was forced to wear the Chuck Taylor shoes because my ligaments are fucked up anyway. And so that's probably why I ended up tearing my Achilles. That's basically what they told me, is because I have this ligament disease. And then, I was telling one of my friends, I must have broken my thumbs multiple times playing baseball. I played catcher from about, trying to think, first year we didn't play, we played T-ball. Second year was fast pitch. So 6, 7, I started catching. Yeah, I think maybe second, third grade, I was catching. And I must have broke my thumb multiple times catching. Broke both of them. And catching footballs too. But that shit, that nerve pain, like the pain was so bad in this thumb a few weeks ago. I almost was I was gonna go see my doctor, either could give me another brace, or I was gonna go to the hospital and have him put a cast on my hand because the pain just moving it was just too much. And I mean, it got so bad where I was either gonna go see my doctor or go get them to put a cast on my hand so I couldn't move it. That's how bad it was hurting me. Because so so those of you, pain, you don't have to live with pain. Find a way. And it doesn't always have, there's natural ways too, but um chronic pain gets so bad that a lot of the natural ways don't really help. Like I put sound and stuff to my hands and my back. I do that too. But it doesn't, my age, and it's so chronic that it helps somewhat, but it's a constant kind of thing where these drugs will mask the pain and to make it less. And so, I know what it's doing to my body as well, but but I look at it like this: that shit can't hurt me. I really look at it like that. I don't look at anything that it can hurt me. The shit's only gonna make me stop hurting. That's how I look at it. I'm king over this domain. And that's where the acupuncture. I'm getting acupuncture in a few hours. I'm going to see my doctor. And that is your time to talk to inside. I mean, we have more than one brain. Your heart is a brain. Your skin is a type of brain. I mean, your internal organs is worlds. I mean, that's the real meaning of chakras and shit. That's what it's trying to tell you, is that you have worlds inside of you, and you bring these different worlds out, and you try to get them in line. Some people, that's the only way they would understand, is how to get your body in a line, is they give you the chakras to try to make everything lined up. So I'm not yay or nay. It's the same way with karma. You can be above karma. You don't have to live down there where karma just smacks you around. You can raise yourself above karma. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but yeah, you get above that shit because the shit's gonna swing. It's you get above that. You like, okay, okay. You ain't gotta hopscotch it. You live above karma. And it's not that I don't believe in the chakras, but it's like when I open my shit up, it'd be multiple shit in the room. It don't be this shit just lined up here. It'd be shit in the whole room. It'd be little worlds everywhere. I fucking look around and it's little worlds everywhere, not just the shit lined up right here. It's everywhere. So that's a lot of energy that can be put out. But and I'm like, well, explain all that. That ain't this shit right here. That shit's everywhere. So that's my kind of thing on it. The reckon earthing, grounding nature can have huge healing benefits. You heard about that? The reckon earth grounding. That is good on it. Do good document. Okay, I'll look at those. Yeah, those kind of pains are the worst. I agree. How these people don't believe they can't get fired after they take it months later because they think they can stay at a job. Yeah, it doesn't make you stay. I was at the grocery store and the pharmacy made an announcement that they had extra shots saying, "Come by if you like to get it." Oh, that's crazy! I saw the motherfuckers. Oh, they was doing them in the changing room at Target. They was waiting in line to go in one of the changing rooms. So instead of going there and changing, they plunging you down. It's it's better to pay attention. I am not taken for my job. It's crazy. People truly better than their lives. Truly crazy. Time Lord, can anyone else you randomly let me give you a shot? Because if you are sick with the tea, I feel you fuckers can become zombies. I can do all of you. It's okay. You might. Well, people are in panics. That's the thing. They got people in a panic now. So people, they see this is how they lie. Okay, this is where they lie. The new normal. So the new normal is after taking the plunge, but that's not normal. It's the new normal. See, that's a lie in itself because taking the plunge is not the new normal. It's not, but that's what they was trying to tell you. Because see, this is the double talk. They're saying the new normal was being isolated and not working and getting all these communist kind of things, but on the other hand, now they say to go back to normal, you just get the plunge. So they should have kept that new normal shit hidden. But see, they needed a buzzword, they needed a spell word. And that's what you have to understand about English. It is full of freaking spells. I mean, happy birthday is one of the worst things you can do to your children. Circle around a child and light freaking candles? That is a hex. You are hexing that child every year of their birth. And we do that shit to babies. When they 1 year old, we circle around them and light fucking candles. Don't do that to children. If you in that, break the circle. Stand sideways or do something to break that circle or step back. Break the circle. But that's what we do. We put that on those people. Like my daughter's mother taking Santa pictures every year. Santa, Satan with the red blood. When you look up St. Nicholas, he wears a green robe with a little black trim. He don't wear that blood red shit. But that's the shit they hit us with. I mean, fucking they ring around the rosy. That's some Black Plague shit. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. But our English is it's a hexing language. It's a spiritually limiting kind of language. Because a lot of shit you can't even, there's no English words for it. What you feeling and what you see. Woke, what's happening? Don't think that if they extended, where I lost it. You think if they extended it till 24, too many people will wake up and see through it? No, people ain't gonna wake up. People gonna believe what they watch on the news. It's just up to the people, and they're gonna try to make us be outcasts that ain't with it. But we got to be strong enough to say it's something wrong with y'all. That will make things interesting. More people refuse to drink the Kool-Aid. There you go, Valerie. I don't want no cakes for my birthday. But if you see them doing that shit to children, break the circle. That's the best thing you can do. Is don't circle up around and break that shit. So I stand my ground with this vax at work. I'll stand my since it's the only thing I got in this world, my word, and standing my ground. Yeah, indeed. You have every right to stand on your square. Woke, it'll be another crisis virus by then. People pay attention. Fake alien invasion. Yeah, that's the next thing. That's the that's the next thing is they gonna bring the aliens. But see, we paid attention because Netflix showed you when the synthetics and the real people came back to take the world back from the synthetics, and the aliens was humans, and it fucked the synthetics up. They was like, well, what the hell? And then the dude told them, it's like, y'all ain't real. We're the real people, and you synthetic people replaced us. So we coming back to try to get our country back, our world back. That's a hell of a message. That's a hell of a message. That is a hell of a message. We need all to come together to defeat these aliens. What they say, one world. Yeah, yeah, and that's communism. You know, that is communism in its essence, and that goes back to the Jewish faith people. That's the type of control they want. You know, just look at the old USSR way of life. That is what they want. That was their practice. And they found out the motherfuckers. See, Afghanistan is just like the Vietnam War fucked up the Americans. We wasted a lot of dough. A lot of companies was over there made a lot of money, or they would say buku was the Vietnam word. But the same thing we fucking did to the motherfuckers in Afghanistan. Afghanistan broke the motherfuckers. You took a Stinger missile that roughly cost $3,000-4,000, and you could shoot down $1 billion Black Bear helicopter. You know the amounts that them Stingers fucked up them $1 billion helicopters. That's what put their asses out of Afghanistan after 10 years, and that's what made all that shit fall. You know, we was shooting them Charlie's War. They was shooting them goddamn $1 billion helicopters out the damn sky, and wasn't shit they could do about it. Stinger missile, and just like the SAM rockets fucked up our pilots in Vietnam. You know, they had them surface to air missiles that the Soviets provided, which again, Hamping, wherever they brought the boats in, Hamping was one place where they could have mined that shit. And that's what Nixon was going to do at the end. And then the railway that went to the Chinese, they should have bombed all that shit. Harbor, Hamping Harbor, and the Chinese railway. They should have bombed all that shit. And that's what Nixon did. And these motherfuckers ran right to the table. Because again, when Nixon was bombing on Operation Linebacker, what the fuck is you bombing in Vietnam? You know, that's why we know that they manipulated the weather. That comes from Vietnam. What did Forrest Gump say? Seemed like the weather, it was raining from the ground up, sideways rain, angle rain. Remember when Forrest Gump, they telling you that's weather warfare. That shit, they was doing that to try to mud out the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And that's another thing. Why didn't you just keep troops on the Ho Chi Minh Trail? Why didn't you just attack the Ho Chi Minh Trail? Not with goddamn bombs. Keep troops there all the time. So it was just a way of killing people. It was a way of getting rid of baby boomers. Let's be honest. That was how they were getting rid of baby boomers, because there were so many of them. They had to have a couple wars to try to kill baby boomers. Do you think it's going to be like this forever with the lockdown and mask? At least until 30. Yeah, at least until 30. At least until 30. I don't see it going away anytime soon. The fake alien. So yeah, I don't see the mask going away before 30. I really don't. Unless people quit believing these motherfuckers and saying quit lying to us. You can stretch a war from aliens in space forever. You know, now they bragging about they can fly over there, but it's still fucking documented discovery shit. How you gonna go over there and put shit in the ground? You can't tell me they ain't putting shit in the ground to see if it'll turn into shit. That's their way. That is their way. If it's true they over there, that is their way. They will plant some goddamn single cells, whatever shit in the ground to see what it'll turn into. That is their way. Documented discovery. They own everything in the universe as well. That is how they feel. They feel they own everything. So they don't give a fuck if they killing anything over there. You know, when they did the lie about the moon landing, they were saying they had to be quarantined before they could come out because it might be some shit on them from the moon. Well, that would go the same way if they put some shit up there. How sterile was the shit? Can't be too goddamn sterile when it went through these damn rockets and shit to get it there. Which again, how did it get through the asteroid belt when we know the Anunnaki had to use atomic bombs to get through that shit? How did they send that little thing through the asteroid belt? That's what I want to know. How? Yeah, it's all fucking lie. They can't do that shit. You can stretch a war from aliens in space forever. You could. You're definitely going to get Independence Day and War of the Worlds like 2 years because the good alien saviors come to help and the real bad guys too. It'd be funny if they bust out the tall white grays. That shit would be funny as hell. You have a motherfucker looking like Spock and shit with the pointy ears, because that's the tall white grays as they trying to show Spock be. And you have these pale white looking dudes with long hair and shit. Saying we're here to help humanity, motherfucker. You use them demons they talk about, motherfucker. What do you say? Vote for me and I'll set you free. This is some of the best beer ever. Killian's. That shit fucks my stomach up, though. Can't drink the shit. I can drink every other beer, but not Killian's. Something in Killian's, that shit fucks my stomach up so bad. I cannot drink it. It was my favorite type of beer. But yeah. And then the St. Patrick's Day, you could get Killian's Green, and they quit doing that shit. But St. Patrick's Day ain't a day to, that ain't a day for melanated people to celebrate. Celebrating the first Christo Columbus, the first one, because that's a title, and the first one was St. Patrick killing the Twa people. So why would any melanated people celebrate that shit? And I remember years ago when they was making fun because it was a Confederate Day parade, and they had a brother wearing a Confederate flag and a Confederate uniform, and everybody was calling him all them names, but not knowing the history. That melanated people fought for them from the beginning. It was just when the Northerners was getting desperate, they said, give me a couple 100,000 of these people. They need to be fighting and dying too. But the Confederates, they fought from the beginning. Again, look at all the generals from Mexico. You'll find about 10 Mexican brothers as generals. But you can find melanated Confederate units. They try to do books and shit. Well, this is a myth. Bullshit. So that brother he had every right to be at that shit. That wasn't no cooning because he knew his history. These motherfuckers fought their asses too. It wasn't North against the South. It was the South against the federal government, which Lincoln was desperate. And Lincoln fooled all them people to say that it's your fight too, when it really wasn't their fight. Wasn't anybody's fight in any of these states. It was the federal government. Fort Sumter was what? A federal base. But they had to come up with a quick lie to make it think that everybody else was attacked instead of the federal government being attacked. That's who the war was against. That's why they brought the Mason Robert E. Lee, because before Robert E. Lee, they was winning. And Robert E. Lee's thing, I mean, you can't forgive him for what he did at Gettysburg. How do you fucking send a company across a goddamn field of cannon fire? Then Jeb Stuart doesn't show up to give the intel. It's a bunch of shit they did. Gettysburg shouldn't even been engaged. Shouldn't have been engaged. They want to blame Ewell and all these different people that they didn't attack in the right place. You never attack a motherfucker in the high ground. When they fought these motherfuckers in Fredericksburg, they had the high ground. So how are you going to try to attack people knowing they have the high ground? That's just idiotic. But see, that was Lee's role, to lose to his Mason friends. So Lee wasn't helping the South. I hate beer, but I could go for a shot of vodka. I bet you be on that Amsterdam. So I hate beer, but shot of vodka. No, Amsterdam is the cheap. When I lived in North Carolina, we could get a fucking half gallon for about $12. When I turned 21, what was that in 82? Yeah, 82. I turned 21. I remember I bought a half gallon of Johnny Walker Red and I bought a half gallon of Everclear. And I think each half gallon was about 10 to $12. I had a half gallon. I had a fridge and I shared an apartment with some people and had a fridge and had the Everclear in the Johnny Walker. I don't think I had the Scotch, but I know I had the Everclear in the fridge. And Everclear make you forget your name and forget everything. Oh, Smoke Toe, what's happening? Uh, Don Julio. Where they get that little green leprechaun shit from? That's the Twa people. That's where that shit come from. The Twa people. They wanted to. They stole the Twa's gold and then they murdered the Twa. But the Twa is, you can go back years to see their settlements. That their settlements were so old over there. So those was more melanated people that just hadn't left, that stayed in these areas. See, that's the lie about Europe. They try to tell you, and I know I'm even wrong for calling people Europeans because they were melanated Europeans. You can see that. You can go back to them. A lot of people say they reptilians, them blue bloods, but they are related to them melanated people too. Again, that's the Black Plague. What do you think it meant? To kill all the melanated people. That's what the Black Plague did. I mean, read the stories. It wiped out millions. And then you get Europe, what it looked like afterwards. Why you think that you see shit like the Dark Ages? Well, these motherfuckers got dumbed down. I mean, really, we dumbed down now. Like my son and I was arguing about the Yucatan. Do you know how brilliant these people had to be to drill shit from the ocean to reach the Yucatan Peninsula and create cenotes that still collect water, that still filter water? And we talking about thousands of years later. You think these was dumb people? That's some engineering feat they couldn't even do today. And I told the story before about the Wright brothers plane. These motherfuckers had $1 million, all the schematics of the Wright brothers plane, and they couldn't make the motherfucker fly. They tried to pull the motherfucker behind the car and they couldn't even make the motherfucker fly. So, but I mean, that just there shows you the engineering of these people is amazing. It's some of the best engineering we've ever seen. And then when I say that these people live in another reality above us, you think they could have just poofed away? And the Europeans, and I'm gonna keep saying this, that's what Lindar is for. They want to find out how to get up there. They want to find out if there are generators on Earth that help them. Because they want to bring all that shit down because they haven't conquered that. That's why I say, in the Astros and the Ethers, the motherfuckers up in there, That's why you always got to put protective shit. I think someone asked, can't you be tricked? You definitely can be tricked. You think there's certain guides and motherfuckers ain't really for you. They working for them. So you can be tricked. You got to make sure they really working for you. I am impressed with this. I only paid $8 for this. Very impressed. With the leaf and the wrapping. Acid. Starting to like the acid cigars. I saw a real picture. All right, brothers, and they was brothers. They was black. Do you think Stephen A. Smith got the vaccine to get an interview with Trevor Lawrence? Smoke Toe, I wouldn't be surprised. But they paying him what, 10, 12 million a year? He gonna do whatever the fuck they say. He gonna do whatever the fuck they say. It ain't just that. It's just they told his ass to jump, so he jumped. I saw the real, yep. Smoke Price had to pay because most famous sports reporters. And remember, they had Stephen A. Smith had a show years ago. He had a primetime show, and they fired him off ESPN. And then they brought him back with Skip. They tried to bring Skip back, but Skip was like, the way you cut motherfuckers? No, I'm not coming back to ESPN because ESPN is in a lot of trouble. As far as ratings and advertisers, yeah, they are in a lot of trouble. These talking heads is about to go away. And ESPN only been around since I think my senior year in high school, 79 or 80. Again, I tell you, when my games was televised by BET, BET didn't have a channel. When the first game I played in was 80 season, 80 season, and our games was televised by BET. BET did not have a channel in 80. It was a couple years later. But BET, and this is new ESPN, and so BET got ESPN to show our games. All the camera and all the color people I talked about before about, Lim Barney, ex-Lion that I met Lim. And Lim joked on me because my nickname is Toby. And years later, when I would see him, I would always tease him about that shit. Max Kellerman. Yeah, Max is good on boxing, though. Max is good on boxing. ESPN out of my state of Connecticut, and it's going away. Yeah, I mean, they've been making cuts, and it's Disney. They're part of Disney. Disney bought too much. That's what we're seeing is Disney, them hands being extended. It's like what Ford had to do. Ford owned Volvo, Mazda, Jaguar, and yeah, Ford gave way to that shit. Just like the way that Daimler Benz got rid of motherfucking Chrysler. Look at Chrysler now, owned by Stelletta, I think they're called. The motherfuckers that owned a Maserati and shit. Motherfuckers old Fiat, them cars that ain't got good quality issues. So how you think them cars is now? And then now Range Rover is owned by an Indian company. So how do you think that he was a company that already struggled with quality issues and parts costing way too much? Now you get an autobiography from a few years ago, it's probably still a decent car because it takes 5 years from print, to putting the car to production. But yeah, you get one of them cars that just they made, yeah, you're not gonna get a real BMW, or excuse me, not BMW, Land Rover. You're getting some bullshit from a company that has a poor history of quality. Look at the Chryslers. Look at the Chryslers. Yeah, they got the hell of engines, but look inside them motherfuckers. Compared to other cars that cost 90 or 100,000. You got all that cheap plastic shit. Yeah, you got a monster engine, but when you look at all that other shit, it's cheap plastic shit. It ain't no difference. My mother has a 300S from 12, and it's basically the same shit inside. I bought one of the first 300s when they came out. I had a 05 back when you was changing the grill and shit. Mine wasn't even all-wheel drive. Mine was back drive. So, yeah, you got an engine, but you got a cheap-ass car. And if you look at the fit and finish, Chrysler was never a company that was a good quality company. Now you got a company that's even worse quality. The Maserati cars ain't shit. It's just the name. Elon might buy ESPN. I wouldn't be surprised at that. I love that show when Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith would go at it head to head. I missed those. I liked Cold Pizza because the first show they did was called Cold Pizza. It was Woody, that motherfucker named Woody out of Denver, and Skip. I kind of liked that a little better. And Woody, some reason, couldn't carry it. So, is Trevor Lawrence already part of the script? Of course. I think Joe Burrow went off script a little bit because his own lineman threw that man into his knee. His own player got him hurt. And I don't know if it's going to make him listen harder, but if you look at that play, his own man threw somebody into his knee. Hard to say, will he be the same quarterback? I mean, this guy is what, 23, 24, already, major knee injury. It's going to kill some of your mobility. I mean, look at Joe Namath, all those knee problems he had. Tom Brady, they protected him after that one hit. When Steve Gannon got hit like that and Carson Palmer got hit like that, they didn't change the rules for them. But then Brady got hit like that. Oh, you can't hit him low anymore. There were 2 games that decided the Super Bowl, or the teams going to the Super Bowl, where quarterbacks got injured on purpose like that. And then when it happened to Brady, they changed the rule. So, I don't know. He looks like a girl. It's tough coming back from a major injury. Never the same. No, you're not the same. You just don't have the plant size. Now, again, depending what, he was able to step out and stuff. But I'll say this is the technology to come back from injuries is better. A lot of times you don't need the full surgery. They can scope and tie your leg back together. The therapy is better. The braces are better. So I'll say that. Looks like smoke toe. Well, let me get the divination in. So we should be, I think we're, 8. So oh, wow. So we're 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes, 8 Uno, and 8 kin. So we got 8, 8, 8, 8. Oh, shit. This is a great day for me. All them 8s. Wow. Okay. And the energy is from the south, and it's called Lamont. Lamont. Yeah. Star, harmony, the octave, intuitive realization of pattern of higher life, love, star-fed energy coming out of the south, as I explained. Also today, again, remember to be in the center. Oh, sorry. Always want to put the fractal out there for anybody that can vibe with it. This is the fractal of the Mayan. That one, Lamont. Because there's energies in the fractals themselves. And then from the Toltec, Zotec. This is an interesting story. Maybe I'll read it off. It's an interesting story. In this legend, we find the Goods gathering at Tulakan. The world was dark and they were feeling lonely. They wanted to bring humanity back to life, and they spoke what they must do. The first requisite is for creating life is having the light of the sun. We should start by having a new sun. Who among us will be brave enough to sacrifice himself by burning in the sacred fire and having the honor of becoming the new sun that will bring light to humanity so humanity can exist again? Everything was silent a moment, and then Tukazakatal, a powerful and rich prince of high status among the gods, stepped forward, richly attired with jewels and precious fabrics. Having made an impression with his appearance, he spoke, "I will sacrifice myself on this fire to have the honor of illuminating the new world. I will be the new sun." Everyone is impressed by his courage. His offering was accepted, and the place went silent again as the gods waited for him to accomplish his act of self-sacrifice. Tuzakato took some steps to prepare himself, then ran toward the big fireball in the center. But when he was about to jump in the flames, something unexpected happened. He stopped abruptly. The fear he felt did not let him do what he had offered to do. All the other gods were amazed and ashamed to see this big, powerful prince god afraid and failing. Before anybody could say anything, Tucasto tried again, but again he got really close to the fire. He stopped in fear and shame at his cowardness. The air was very tense as the gods looked at each other in disbelief of what was happening there. Everybody was disconcerted. Tushikato again tried for the third time, but he failed again. The gods became really worried. Humanity wouldn't have a new opportunity to become the coward because of the cowardice of a god. Somber feeling filled the hearts of Tuakalo, and all the others were at the all others there at Tushikan. Nobody knew what to do. Then when sadness and despair reached their high point, once again the unexpected happened. Nanatuzin, the leper, the most humble and poor among all the gods there, with his thorn loincloth and his skin full of swords, showed up from behind the circle where he had been waiting and everything since the beginning. With no hesitation, he jumped into the fire. The flames grew higher and higher with the self-sacrifice of Nanatuzin, and a new, brilliant, powerful sun rose in the sky. Everyone felt relief, for a new sun was shining again. Everyone except Tusakato, whose shame became fury when he found himself humiliated by the lowest of all at the meeting. Out of fury, without thinking even for a second, Tushikato did what he could not do out of courage. He jumped into a fire. A second sun rose into the sky, right in front of the first sun, a Nuzukano. The gods looked at each other in puzzlement and distress. There cannot be two suns. This is wrong. We have to do something. They talked for a time, looked for a solution to this new problem, and finally they reached an agreement. They would ask the eagle and the rabbit, who had been present at the meeting all the time, to extinguish the second sun, Tushikano, one way or another. The eagle and the rabbit accepted the mission. The eagle took the rabbit into its claws with care and flew high towards Tushikato. When he got close enough to the second sun, he threw the rabbit against its face so hard that the light of the sun diminished and turned pale, becoming the moon. In this moment, Tushikato and Nazakata started to chase each other, and they have been pursuing each other every day. So in this card, we see the rabbit and the serpent having a match on the sacred court. The luma were played. The ball courts could be found all over. I call them continuous. The rabbit represents the body and the power of the senses, and the serpent represents the mind, the capacity for reflection. The court is the human body, and the game represents the challenge or motion in life. The card represents the tension between enjoying life by following your instincts and senses and material pleasures versus looking for the development of awareness. If the rabbit wins and the serpent loses, we will lose because of the dominance of the senses result in the sacrifice of higher awareness. On the other hand, if the serpent wins and the rabbit loses, we will fail as well because our quest for higher awareness would kill our joy for life. The card tells us we need to take care of the balance between these two aspects of our existence, joy and awareness. The rabbit teaches us if you forget the joy and pleasure of life, you will be wasting something precious, enjoyment of one life that you have in eternity. But if you surrender to the quest of the pleasure and forget the development of awareness, you will lose your soul, which is precious as well. The key to success, of course, is to do balancing and honoring both sides. Some questions. How often in my life do I experience joy and pleasure? In what ways am I getting pleasure? How does that affect my entire being? Am I working too much and forgetting to enjoy the simple things in life? Do I plan for myself to have quality joy time? Am I lost in the careless quest for pleasure without seeing the balance of the big picture? Do I laugh enough? What was the last time that I laughed with my entire body? Am I taking myself too seriously? Am I over dramatizing situations in my life? How many friends do I have? How many acquaintances? Could I turn some of my acquaintances into friends? Have I met with my friends recently just for the fun of it? Do I provide enough time for being with my friends? Am I a good friend for my partner, parents, children, or other family members? Am I sharing enough joyful time with them? Consult with your heart. Discuss what you are considering with someone you trust. Consult after consultation and careful consideration, in the middle of the mysteries, make your decisions and don't look back. So, anybody can enjoy those energies. I give freely, baby. I give freely. You think they doing Deshaun Watson dirty? Yeah, he's going through the shame ritual. Trevor's a Cybertron. No, I don't think so. He's too big of a man. How many injuries do you think are fake? Some are fake, Antonio. Some are fake. Yeah, some just to keep the player out. I would definitely pass that on. I've been seeing AA number plates a lot recently. Oh, soap, okay. Seems like they're putting Deshaun through some kind of humiliation. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Will Deshaun play another game this year? I doubt it. Remember, Adrian Peterson, they made him sit out his peak year. The year after he almost broke the rushing record. He was what, 3 yards behind. He ran 2,003 yards or 2020. What was it? He was 3 or 4 yards behind Eric Dickerson's record. He was about to break it. I think they're going to let Adrian Peterson break what's his name, Smith's record though. If they let him keep playing, he'll sure play again. He might not only play, but he might be all because they made Peterson sit out the year and he didn't do shit. His rewarded for humiliation ritual. Yeah, I mean Michael Vick. I said that last night. They took $100 million from him and made him go to jail. Where I didn't understand why. Same with Tyson. Why didn't you work out? Jail is the perfect place to work out. Why didn't they let Tyson fight in prison? They let Ron Lyle fight in prison. Wildwater Sports went into prison and showed a Ron Lyle fight. So you telling me they couldn't did that for Mike Tyson if it was real? Why wouldn't Mike Tyson have worked out every day in prison? What else do you have to do? Why wouldn't he have kept his body hard in prison? Oh, I'm in prison, no motivation. But yeah, so Watson is going through humiliation ritual. I mean, if he was so bad, the word would have got around. Nobody would have worked for him. That's the reality. That's the reality. Motherfuckers like, yeah, you know, the weirdo Deshaun Watson, you know, we giving him a massage, he pull his shit out, and, you know, try to smack me in the face. And then the girl says that he tricked her into giving him neck. How do you trick somebody? Well, you know, so if you pull out money, that's contract. You get on it, and I'll give you $1,000 or whatever. It was probably much less. I'll give you a $200 tip. That's a contract. That ain't him forcing or tricking her. How can you trick somebody to do that? You pull out that bread and they do it. They ain't tricking them. Unless he didn't give her the money, then that's a different thing. But more than likely, he paid all them people. So it's all bullshit. There's no way he did all that stuff. Seems like a really good dude, what I've seen. Are some of his accusers paid? Absolutely paid, Smoke Toe. Absolutely. Yeah, it's no way that people would keep dealing with him unless, you know, just for bread wise, but the word gets around. You know, this dude wants some weird shit. But if he paid everybody, that's contracting, you know. And then you know, these people are massage people. I've never taken a massage where I had clothes on. Never. Never. And this is one thing that's funny. Most people that give you massages, if a woman gives a man a massage, she gonna look at your shit. She is gonna look at your shit. That's just human nature. Because when you turn, if the towel ain't on you, your shit comes out. And they'll look at your shit. And I don't mean, you know, you're like, hey, you looked at it. No. It's just human nature. You put your towel back down, you lay down, and you let them finish. Now, if they add a happy ending, then that's a contract too. Like I talked about that movie, the movie where, you know, dudes got massage, everybody on their backs, and there's little boxes, little jack off boxes over everybody. And again, they did show Asian people. This was an Asian place. And that Rob, whatever his name is, that comic, he was on there and he told her, look, honey, if you don't play with my balls, we'll be here all day. But they had the little jack off boxes at the Asian, you know, it was like all these dudes was on the table. It was like 7 or 8 of them, you know, and they're in one big room and they all got these little jack off boxes where their hands is inside the box. So I don't know. It sounds like bullshit to me. Yeah, I say, he said he got a, you looked at it. You looked at it. No, he looked at me every time. I had the same, she was good. I lost her. She was good. She did a good job on my hands. But she every time. And it's like, I saw this girl once a week and she would always look when I turned. So it was like, I didn't feel offended. It wasn't like I, you know, smack her in the face with it. Here's a joke. So when I was younger, me and some of my family members wanted to have a contest to see who was blessed the most. So we couldn't figure out how we could do the contest. And then I said, well, if we go to this bridge, we can just see who's blessed the most. So the first person, you know, first relative went out and he put his package over the bridge, and you know we didn't hear anything. So the next person, next relative pulled his package out and he said, "This water's cold." And so I pulled mine out and threw it over the bridge, and I said, "And it's deep too." And it's deep too. So Richard Pryor joke. And it's deep too. This water cold, and it's deep too. That's old Richard Pryor joke. That ain't my joke. Peyton put his nuts on a female personal trainer in college or in the pros. I can't remember which one. That's just an old silly joke. I probably told a little too quick. And it's deep too. That's old Richard Pryor, very old Richard Pryor joke. That joke's probably 40 years old, if not older. Probably closer to 50 years. Yeah, probably early 70s joke for the least. One of his early jokes. Got tobacco in my teeth. That's why, you know, you got to have balance. You know, you got to have balance. You can't just be up here, you know, it's just every minute of our life ain't spiritual. Oh, okay. I didn't bring my cup over. Oh, it's over there. Okay, that's just going to sink in. There we go. The sugarite water. Purifying your own water. Oh, that's what I meant to do was show my sugarite. Because someone said their sugarite wasn't shiny, but not all sugarite is shiny. And it's all over there. I don't feel like getting up. There's no sugarite over in this part of the house. Well, in there are. But yeah, most sugarite you get is not shiny, especially non-royal sugarite. It ain't shiny. Forgot to bring that. Ask Jeffrey. You can ask. Ask me. I have a question. Go ahead and ask. Is Dave Chappelle better than Pryor? Kind of different in a lot of ways. I don't think Dave Chappelle had the sadness that Richard Pryor had. You know, Richard Pryor grew up in a hoe house. His grandmother was like a godfather. She had several hoe houses, and you know, his dad was probably a pimp. His mom was a hoe, and he grew up in a hoe house, and but gambling houses and shit too. He was abused at 5 years old, and he talks about he was 5 or 6, and the dude who abused him was a teenager. And he said later he had came home and the abuser was with his grandson and tried to get autograph. Like, you didn't do this bullshit to me when you caught me in the alley and you know beat me up until I did some shit to you. And so Richard Pryor, I don't think, you know, a lot of comedians have that kind of sadness that helps with their genius of comedy. And you know, they kept like, as soon as he would get strong, they put them people around him because he knew it was hard for him. I mean, this man tried to kill himself because he couldn't quit freebasing, and yet even after he tried to kill himself, he started freebasing again. Jim Brown will tell you that. If a person is playing a video game, can a person somewhat start controlling the game or at least push the game to its limit more than developers had in mind? Ciova would be the one to answer that in some ways, but I would say, yeah, you could. Yes, you could. Because like what my son did, you can get those cheats, you can get the extra thing. He's got this little thing that you stick into the controller to give the cheats. So yeah, you can take the game beyond. Yeah, I wouldn't see why you couldn't. I wouldn't see why you couldn't. Uh, I think the real question would be like, could you Tron? And it would be really, that would take a lot of energy to Tron into the game. It really would. You would really have to have hmm, you would really have to have a electronic connection that is almost, it's like when I took everybody quantum, it would be on that kind of thing. You would have to be able to it would be this hard. You would have to be able to go through the controller into the system, integrate into the system, and then take it like that. That would be, I think, what you're asking. That is possible. Could be dangerous though, because couldn't really tell you the way to get out of that shit. I don't know if necessarily going backwards in the way you got into it, you could come out. I don't know. I really can't say. It would be the same thing. Like, could you put yourself in a movie like that show showed, where you know all these young teenagers went into the scary movie and shit? And I really didn't like the answer the way they got out because it really wouldn't work that way. So, mm, yeah, that would be tricky. That would be tricky. It sounds like a lock. That would be a type of lock to me. I don't really see how you could get out of it. Now, now, are you just saying? I don't even know how you could even take your consciousness. If you put your consciousness into that, how would you come out of it? Because just to become part of the system, you would have to be part of the system. You would have to put your consciousness into the system, but I don't know how you would bring it out. I really don't. mm. Yeah, that seemed like that would be a lock if you could do it. I don't know how you could reverse it. Now, if you're saying just could you do cheats to take the software to its limits, you could do cheats. That's why I brought my son up. Patrice O'Neal was always my favorite. He always talked a lot of real shit too. I always thought Patrice was a sacrifice for Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb's copied his style. Dave wanted to continue to do the show the way he wanted it without wearing his dress. Offered him money to wear the dress. I know, Valerie, but you got to look at Robin Hood Men's in Tights. He wore the dress. Look that up, Valerie. I understand they said that, but he already wore the dress. He wore the dress in Robin Hood Men with Tights. So you have to look that up because he did wear the dress before the show. So that I think that's bullshit that he said. I think what they said made more sense, that they wanted to give him 50 million and they made 500 million. I think that's the real argument there. He was like 50 million ain't shit compared to 500 million. I mean, just staying in this realm and not going in it. I mean, affecting the mechanics and physics of the game. I've done that before in games online and online to people. Well, I mean, yeah, you could I told before, I'm going back and forth with some chicks on Facebook, and I remote viewed into her crib, and so she's sitting there talking shit, and I'm throwing arrows in her ass. I'm throwing arrows in her back. And so she's like doing like this and shit. And I'm looking at her. And she's like, you can't do it. What does it look like? And I explained her hallway and shit to her. The chick, like, she blocked me after that. Because I'm like, yeah, chick, I saw you. I could tell you the color of your carpet. I could tell you what you're wearing right now. Yeah. So, I mean, you could get it like that. But if you've done it before and you could come back, and that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, but look it up. You can see him in Robin Hood Men with Tights. He wear a type of dress in that movie. That was his first movie. I never cheat games though. I like to push and overthink the game. My brain is better than the game. Okay. I mean, if you got a way to get in and get out, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I just didn't want to steer anybody else that they can get so deep into it. Like Tron, I couldn't tell you how to get out of that shit. If you became like Tron, you ain't gonna be able to come out like they did in Tron. I'll tell you that. But if you've got a way where you can engage and disengage, that's cool. That's cool. Maybe that's what you need to bring one time, tell people how to do that. Because I really couldn't tell. That would be kind of borderline dangerous to a lot of people. But if you're just saying at a certain, you see a certain relativity there that you push the game beyond. Okay, I get you. I get you. I guess I did a little too much thinking. I think video games and TV are a type of mind control. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You're being programmed. Programmed. What the dude says, they're not TV shows, or they're programs, or some shit he says in the commercial after he throws the sign. I used to always hit them. I used to do a lot of videos on other channels showing when these lower Hollywood types throw signs and shit. They always throw signs. It's funny. I looked at a dude. This dude was watching the baseball game and he threw this shit like he was just sitting there. And he knew the camera was coming on him and he was sitting there. He was on some good seats at the Dodgers game, because Mary Hart she's married to that billionaire old dude, but they wasn't there probably because the dude's, I think he's in his 80s and Mary Hart's got to be in her 70s, but they weren't at the game. But it was a dude, they was panning the crowd and the dude was sitting there like this. So that just shows you what, their level and shit. Mostly you see the people like this. That shit don't just mean white power. That means I'm initiated into this bullshit. That's why, you see it in commercials. Programming from programs. There you go. I've done some real bullshit in games and messed up the game playing with people online and I break it. Okay, well, that's cool. That's a cool ability. Mark, what's your other channel? You mean the one that got deleted? Yeah, Mark, the one that they took down. Yeah, the one they took down. That's all my nephew wants to do is play the game, grades dropping, and he has to go to summer school. Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Like us as parents, and us as relatives, if we didn't provide those games for our children, we was looked at as broke. Or we was looked at as like, why ain't you can't, I got to go over to other people places to buy that shit. And so as parents, we thought we were doing them some good by buying this shit. I'm really not good at that shit. Like the 2-on-2 army game where to get up in the building, you got to, give the man a hike. My son is fighting and shit, and I'm trying to make my man, step up. The dude is bent over and trying to give me a hike up, and I couldn't do it. I always liked the driving simulators or the flying simulators. I never really, you know, that was kind of like my brother's generation. My brother and I are 5, 6 years apart. And that was kind of hit like even the pinball or the amusement arcades, that was kind of his generation, where my generation was grown when that shit came out. So to me, arcade games, I was nowhere I'd ever hang out, because it was like that was where kids went. So for me, I'm a little older than the generation of playing games. Again, when I was in school, it was just Pong. My brother had, it wasn't Atari, it was Intellivision. We had the Intellivision system of just Pong. So that was my thing with video games, because I remember we'd go to the Ponderosa and you play a quarter, or it was another place, but probably Ponderosa, where you would sit on the table and you play Pong. You put whatever it cost, probably a quarter back then, and you would play Pong. And then television came out, and you could hook it up to the TV and just play Pong. It was just. So when I was a senior, and maybe even my freshman year of college, I say more of a senior. When I was a senior or junior, my brother had all that stuff. We would play Pong, but that was. And I think when I came home, the Christmas of '79 going into '80, my cousin had the little Pac-Man box. I played the shit out of that, but she had got it for Christmas, and it was the little handheld Pac-Man, not Miss Pac-Man, but the original Pac-Man. Yep. Ender's Game. Yeah, I saw Ender's Game. Matter of fact, it came on tonight. I saw it on one of the channels tonight. That was deep. That was a good movie. Do you think there's a trans agenda in Hollywood? Definitely. Definitely. It's been one. It's been one. What is her name? What is her name? The old German actress. But she was a dude. It was a bunch of you looking a lot of these past women, they dudes. You look in black and white films, you've seen a lot of dudes dressed as women. So yeah. Trans is Baphomet. Yeah, kind of too. Yeah, I had Atari 2600, Pac-Man, Asteroid, Space Invader. That was fun. Yeah. I think when we would wait for sandwiches and shit at the rib cage, we would play Space Invaders. So that was probably out my senior year, because we wait for the food to get done and we play Space Invaders. So that was probably out when I was a senior. I heard Walt Disney set up agreement in his will that he would give a certain percent of Disney to the first man to have a baby. Ha! I never heard that, Smoke Toe. Wow, wow. So back in the days, trans people ruled kings, etc. What is her name? Greta Garbo? No, not Greta Garbo. She was a German. Melina Dietrich. Melina Dietrich, maybe that's her name. That's a dude. That's a dude. You get to hear the dudes talking about she used the men bathroom. So yeah, you can see a lot of them. I think Sly did a thing showing all the kings and the queens and shit. That was all that. Yeah, so that ain't unnormal to see. Yeah. Well, that goes, but you know where that comes from. That goes back into Bala Marduk, because with Bala Marduk, he stole Inanni, and so when I don't know if it's Emil or Nikki came back, and because Inanni was his daughter, and so Inanni was able to go to the Black Hills where the Stargate was, and so Marduk tried to follow and ran into her dad, which again, I don't think, I think it was one of the sons of Nikki and Emil, and yeah, he fought Marduk, and Marduk used to wear a jewel on his head, and he cut that jewel off his goddamn head, and he cut his junk off, and so Marduk would have been the first one to present himself as the opposite, because after he got his shit cut off, he started dressing up like a woman. He was kind of like an Enoch, I think they call him. So that goes back into Anunnaki. Yep. Supermodels and actors dudes too. Oh yeah, Marlene Dietrich. Yeah, Marlene Dietrich. But just listening to interviews of people, that she used the dude's bathroom and said, "I got to go to the little boy's room," so she wasn't. And a lot of these motherfuckers knew about that and still would get with it. Think of how hard porn would be, and if you back in the day. Now it's one click away at all times. The shit's crazy. Well, I talked about that. That's the divine feminine, like porn at first, because just like I was saying about that Easter shit, with Easter not being about the feminine, about being the masculine with the Jesus story. Porn comes from the divine feminine. Divine feminine is the most freakiest thing. It's all that, it's all the freakiness of the divine energy from women. But this is the ultimate energy. And so she was with porn at first, because it was a way of expressing the true femininity, feminine self, unrestricted feminine. But she didn't see how it would turn into what it is today. And so she got fooled because she accepted it at first because it celebrated her. Because again, you look at the early porn, it's not what it is today, where it's just a click away, like Kurt Franklin. Kurt let me go in the closet and beat my meat, Franklin. Motherfucker getting on Oprah talking about that's all he wanted to do. Didn't even want to do shit but just beat his meat all day. I don't know how many people, once you get a certain age, you don't have that kind of testosterone. And he was talking in his 30s or 40s. So, yeah. Now incest and that getting promoted too. Well, the bestiality shit, the bestiality shit ain't, it's always been there. Mexico, it was motherfucking places you can go in Mexico. The Godfather tries to show it to you. But there's places where you could go in Mexico, you see a chick, all boarded up like this, and they bring out a goddamn donkey, and then the donkey starts fucking the chick, and dudes pay to see that shit. That's what the Godfather was trying to show you. But the Godfather tried to call the man Superman. But they had shit like bestiality in Tijuana. You could go in Tijuana and watch bestiality. You watch a donkey fuck a woman. And that shit be packed. Motherfuckers be like, let's go watch the donkey fuck a woman. Why? That ain't, that ain't nothing I'm really looking to trying to do. I don't even want to imagine that shit. Motherfuckers get drunk and want to go see that. Not me. Yeah, I mean, it's, that this is, when they looked at the Biff world, this is part of the Biff world. Even though, Biff got defeated, it's still part of the Biff world. So, where almost anything goes now, any perversion you want, you can pay for it. I mean, now you can order children. It ain't like people just ordering cocaine and people just ordering weed. You can order children now. And that's why they throwing them over the fence, because motherfuckers is ordering these children. And they getting paid to bring these children because they got administration out there that is helping in logistics of moving these children around America to the proper places. And Uncle Imbecile, you can say what you want about him. He wasn't allowing that shit. Because he never forgot what happened under Obama. 3,000 children missing. That was under Obama. That was under Barry. And now here we got another motherfucker in office and that shit's back on again. Under the guise of bringing the white Latinos, the European looking Latinos. I mean, they do want that. That's a part two, to bring the European looking Latinos. That's a part two you got to consider. Do you think the ultimate meaning of this thing we call life is about finding out who you are? Been trying to stay true to myself as I can, and that's it. That's it. Live by your intentions and stay true to who you are. First of all, know who you are. That's the first thing you got to do, is know yourself. Know who you are, and then live that by your intentions and by your actions. Live by your actions. That's all you can do. And so when it comes time for you to move on, it's easy for you to move on. You just move on. When death comes, you're like, hey, this is the next thing. I'll cut the damn cord myself and let's move on. And if you get that free movement, again, I know a lot of people say if it's light as a feather, well, I ain't got time to stop to see. When they release me from this shit, I've got time to see if my shit's light as a feather. I got other plans. I'm going to go to my own. Again, every person wants to be a planet. Every planet wants to be a universe. That is my goal, to be a planet first and then to have my own universe. And there's enough of the galaxy out there where I can have that. And then I can have the ultimate, I can be the Brahma. Life starts when I breathe out. And then at the end when I breathe back in. So I turn into the Brahma. That's what it is. You become that. You have motherfuckers evolving off of you. You be your own world, because that's what the idea of Mu is. Mu was free to move how she wanted to move, and she took the water with her lover, and so her lover covered her up, and they had children, the air and the fire, and then the land became children as well. And so beings just evolved off of that. That was the plan, though. And now, this is the thing is this is none of this shit really real. As hard as this sounds to hear, it ain't real. This shit ain't real. It's definitely a type of simulation. I mean, it feels real. Food, what Cypher say? The shit tastes, I know, but it's not. It's not real. This is the illusionary world. And so that's a part you want to break away too, is break out the illusion. Oh, I need to stand up, but I got my funny pajamas on, so I'm not going to stand up. Why are motherfuckers running in my hallway at this time of night? Where's the fofo? Ah. Oh, stop. Oh, okay. Go away, cramp. Oh. Go away. Go away. Okay. Oh, that hurts. All right. I'm looking at new chairs. Scared to lift my leg because this crap won't go away. Let's see. Okay. I got it. All right, there we go. That shit hurts. So the meaning is, don't realize it's an illusion, and when it's time to go, don't resist. Don't go into the light. I don't care what the Buddhists say. Yeah, I don't want to be illuminated like that because the light is not with us. All the technically people don't know who they are. No, they don't smoke toe. Appreciate the advice. Oh, you're welcome. Social media just everywhere. Best version, not even real. It's like most people like me. I don't even turn my TV on. I read the bullshit that I read, and then I read these books, and I won't even turn the TV on till it's time to see how the gold and the silver is doing, and then how the few other investments doing. But that's what I do. I watch the sports programs just to catch up, and then once I see the main point, I watch business all day, and to see how to maneuver this money around. So, oh my goodness, yeah, and those of you that are paying Bitcoin, you better pay attention this damn week. Let me see what I want to show about this. You guys paying Bitcoin, you better pay attention. This shit went down to 50, and they talking about this shit might go down to 25. Where are we at? Right here. So it closed at 50. Okay, it went up to 53. Okay. So actually it gained. Wow. 3,000 gain in 12 hours. Wow. That's outstanding. Yeah, so Bitcoin's up to 53. So it went up 6%. Went up $3,000. So it went down to 50. But I don't know. I was listening to some forecasters, and they think this shit might go back down to 20 something. So those of you that play, you better pay attention. Everything went up though. Dodge coin or dog coin is up 261, so about 26 cents. Ethereum which is the Russian one, it went up $177 to 2,400. Gold shouldn't have changed though. Gold pretty much, yeah, closing price the other day, 17. Silver's at 26. Yeah, silver's down 14 cents. Gold is down $7. So gold is still at 1,700. So, but pay attention to your 401ks. Pay attention if you fuck with Bitcoin. Don't just put money in it and not pay attention to that shit. That's called being mature. I don't do social media. TV and YouTube is enough for me. There you go. I do Facebook, but I don't do it every day. Been investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, gonna hold for a couple years. Yeah, but pay attention because if you see that shit starting to drop too much, but it's a nice gain. That's a nice gain that went back up three grand. That's a nice gain. That's a nice gain. Because Ford, man, I've been taking a beating on Ford. Shit, Ford, it went up to about 18 bucks. And shit, it's about 11, 12 bucks now. So I've taken quite a beating with Ford. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. Cause like on my new phone, I ain't put none of that shit but YouTube on my new phone. That's so when I go out, that's all I got, unless I take a book. I don't. I'm not putting none of this shit. I still use and it's, I'll say this too: is the Galaxies are easier to use. I don't care what anybody says. Galaxies are easy to use than iPhones. The Google is way easier to use. So I use this old one most of the time. I watch this one all day. This other one just sit there. Plus, it's heavier to hold up, but it's the quality is better. It's a better quality phone, but using systems is easier to use the Androids. But camera capabilities, that was better. But it's funny, like the picture on this Google is better than the picture on the iPhone. I compare them, it's like it's a way better picture. So, well, I'm at the 2 hour 2 hour mark. Again, tomorrow I'm only going to come on because again tomorrow would be my day off, but I'm going to come on because it is the full moon, and I try to share that full moon energy. So I am going to do a meditation. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in touch with One Divineness or not, but if not, I'll hold it. So things that you're going to want to get to prepare is get a candle or incense. Sage would be fine. Use those to clean your areas. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, one of those three to help clear your areas. Because if you connect with the fire, it'll be a little easier for me to help people, especially putting up the protection. So, but I'll send out the protection just too. But it would be helpful if you guys could have at least one of those three: incense, sage, or candles. One of the three, And always remember, never blow out candles. Snuff them. It's disrespectful to the fire. So you snuff things that are burning. You snuff them. The sage would be a great one. I might go to the reservation and see if they have any fresh sage. They have the best sage in this area to me. Most places around here buy it from the reservation. They have it fresh. And so yeah, about a little after 10 tomorrow, I should be on, and I'll do the sound rituals, and then we'll do the meditation. So it'll be short. So it'll be like I want to give a short number, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes might be too much because well, just to sit here, sit here to see me, because I'd have to meditate with everyone. Um, so I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I'll try to push it to 15 minutes, but I'm not sure about that. 10 might be easier because there are people that won't participate, and just to see me meditate for 15 minutes ain't going to be interesting to people. So, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out how we'll do it. And for those of you interested, and then we'll go step by step. Again, I'm going to put out the bubbles of protection. Um, just because I don't want anybody to feel like you opened up and then you've had something invaded your area, and if there's no agreement, then there's nothing has any right to invade your area. But there's bullshit around, and that's why I say it's best to have incense, candles, and sage. That's the type of protection for those of you that don't have any protective stones. And so I just don't want you to be fed on. That's my thing is like you have to have your own protection. I can only hold so much too. So keep that in mind. I can put these protective bubbles out there, but I can only hold it for so long. And so it would help the more that could have protection themselves, it would help me. I wouldn't have to put as much energy out of trying to, make sure everyone is not bothered. So if you could get those little things, candles, go dollar store candles is fine. If you do want to do the whole night, you can get the cheap, you can get the longer clear candles from the dollar store. Dollar, you ain't got to get the one with Mary on it. You can just get the clear tall ones, and you can just burn that all night, and you'll have that energy all night. Sage would probably be the best though. So, because you could put a little smoke ring like around you, and it would be protective. So, but clearing your areas. That's why I do the sound. Sound will clear areas as well. You know, so recharge your crystals in the full moon. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Like a lot of times I have curtains right here. I'll keep those up all night. I'll keep my curtains up open, and I'll put this bottle with Sugarite. You know, Sugarite is great to recharge this in moonlight. So this, my other bottle, they'll be on this table. Um, I'll put this in the window, and I'll put a lot of my Sugarite in the window. But I keep my curtains open so the moonlight can come in. You know, so it's one of the most of the time in the summer times I keep my curtains open anyway. But tomorrow night definitely. And so, you know, if you have crystals and you do want your crystals moon kissed, it'll be a great time to do it. Like even like if anybody has citrine, um, even taking the citrine, like going outside would be great for the citrine because in the moonlight, that is the time to charge them. Because I'll probably take some crystals outside. Because usually, if it's supposed to be nice, so maybe I'll even my new signal don't go outside well anymore, and I don't have 1,000 subscribers to go live outside with my phone. So I'll just do a thing before. I'll just take my crystals out before, so and get them moon kissed. I'll take a little table out there, maybe keep my garage open or something. Because let me tell you what I did is a few years ago, you know, one thing with selenite, like you can get the big sticks of selenite, and this is more of a wand, but you can get the big sticks and you can create a vortex for yourself. And so when I would go outside and communicate with the planets, I'd always take the selenite moon sticks with me. Well, one night I got so deep and I forgot them. And don't you know, these children around here stole my selenite. I think I found one of them, but the rest of them, they're like, oh, crystals. And they just took my selenite. And I know all the people that took them, but it's like, it's not that big a deal. It's okay. If the children find them and can use them, that's okay. You know, what I'm not tripping off of that. So, thank you, Antoine. Thank you. Recharge your crystals, actually. Yeah. But thank you, Antoine. Very kind of you to say. As you know, I'm a very humble dude. You know, I live a simple life. You know, my car is a '05, so you know I don't try to come on here and pretend I'm something I'm not. I try to show you this little bit of my life. Now I like clothes. You know, I do. I like clothes. I probably have too many clothes, but that's just one of my things that I've always liked. I like dressing. I love hats. I probably got more than 100 hats, but I've got clothes. Matter of fact, here's the funny thing is I have so many clothes that my closet rack just broke the other day. I came home from work and I know what caused it. I thought my cat caused it. But yeah, it just like said, fuck it. And I'm looking at all my new clothes just on the fucking ground. And I'm like, ah. But so they got to call a man to come back and build that shit back up. So I've got my clothes like everywhere. So I've got shit in my son's room, but he can't wear triple X or double X. So I put all the double X and I put like I don't wear a whole bunch of buttoned up shirts and what do you call it, polo shirts. I just don't like that shit. You know, I don't wear a lot of collared shirts unless I got to go somewhere meeting some motherfuckers. But if it's just my thing, I prefer not to wear the collars. That's just not me. So Marduk is Lucifer. No, Marduk is not Lucifer. Marduk is Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki goes back into Sumerian. Lucifer is American energy. So no, Marduk is not Lucifer. Basically, had children, he was a king. So we are basically caught up some type of Star Wars. That's Viger. But yeah. Um, your hat game. I recently bought a couple bucket hats. Oh yeah, in the summer, that's all. I mean, you know, it's like, how do you wear a hot ass wool hat in the summertime? I don't know how old time baseball players did it. Where you know, I am like this. One thing of Zosterism is that you always cover your crown. You know, and so I'm a believer in that. And so you ain't wearing in the sunny, you ain't wearing no hot ass wool hat. I mean, you know, I got a couple summer twin hats because they're summer hats. They're the lighter hat, but wool hats. I mean, it's just silly to try to wear that shit when it's, you know, it's sweating and shit. So these hats, you know, that's what they for. They vented and shit. They for the summertime. So thank you though, Tariq. That is nice, Tariq. Tarika, thank you. But gratitude. Well, thank you. Overstand. That is very kind. I always wear hats outside. Yeah, you should always wear a hat outside, men and women. I mean, that goes into protecting your crown. That's Zosterism, though. That is Zosterism, but it's just protecting your crown. You know, And when they talk about 10 hats, well, you don't need the 10, you just need your head covered. And then John Kennedy is the one that made people, not wear the old fedoras, because he didn't wear a fedora when he got elected. He went, well, because he was wearing a top hat, but he went a long way without wearing it. But you can catch him with fedoras. But and then baseball hats, the trucker hats came back in style. People started wearing hats again. Oh yeah, absolutely. Though I absolutely wear a hat outside. I, if I just go out there and bullshit, I'll throw a hat on. So, well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I want to thank everyone. The sun gives vitamins to your hair. No, I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that. It's like when I sun, I might take my hat off, but generally when I'm moving around, I'll wear a hat. But yeah, if you sunning, yeah, I see your point. If you sunning, yeah, I dig that. If you sunning. But I'm talking about moving around, because a lot of times when I sun gaze, I'll take the hats off when I sun gaze, because again, I wanted to get deep into that, deep into there. But just moving around, I always wear a hat. So yeah, smoke tree, you're right. I'm not disagreeing there. But it's like wearing glasses. Really sunglasses, unless you can't bear it, you want that vitamin D to come in. They trick people into saying you got to block the sun, but actually you want that vitamin D to come in. You want the natural vitamin D to come in. So even sunglasses, you got to kind of watch how often you wear sunglasses, because you want the sun to come in. Now, if driving and you get the reflections too much, of course you wear them when you're driving. But if you just out, it's okay not to wear them. Let that shit get deep, because your eyes go, way back in there. You want that shit to go deep in there. But so this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. That was a good live stream. Well, thank you. I hope I didn't sleep very good last night, so I hope I sleep better tonight. I tried, but my daughter came over early. Dad, open the door, Dad. I'm like, you got a key. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is Timeless. I am a time lord, a time walker. And so I always end with my homeboy Eshawn's poem. I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your host. 8 Wind is Timeless. Till we meet again.